next question that we've identified is, who will actually buy from me? So the questions that you need to be asking and the responses that you'll be looking for are, what customers or benefits do your potential customers want? What sort of things they're really looking for that again will make you stand out? You can then actually develop a framework of customer needs that help you really tailor what your offering will be. So if you've got a particular product, what does it look like? What does it feel like? How will you actually get it out into the marketplace? What kinds of delivery times are you having? Because if you take something like Amazon, which has obviously had a huge success, they started off with very traditional products. They were basically selling books to start with. But what made them really different was the fact they could get books out to people very quickly. It was within a matter of days, and you can actually get next day delivery on many books and products now. So when Amazon started, they weren't selling anything different. Their product was exactly the same as Waterstones or W.H. Smith's or all the other booksellers who were out on the high street. What they did differently was they had a different distribution channel, which meant customers could actually order in a different way. They didn't need to leave their own homes or workplace, they ordered online. And they could receive those books at home in a very quick time scale. So it was the distribution channel that they chose to make them different and to make them stand out, even though they had a very traditional product in terms of books. And you can all see how they've grown. And now they've actually got a huge range of products and services that they sell, and the timescales have actually decreased, and they can get things out very quickly. There might be maintenance issues where you need to help out and you can actually stand out from the crowd. There are quite a few IT businesses that have taken off and done very, very well at a small regional level and offer very quick backup service to people. So whether it's in terms of perhaps website design and maintenance, or whether it's hardware design and maintenance, whatever it is, there are quite a few IT companies that have really gone out there and offer different maintenance packages to their customers and very fast response times. That means they've differentiated themselves in some way. But again, the original product of a website or a mainframe system may not actually be that different to what the competition are doing, but it's the way they actually support their customer that makes them different. Okay, one of the things that may be useful to you, I did mention the automotive industry has played a big part in my life, is that the car analogy is something that might be quite useful to you when you're starting to think about your customers. And what I mean by that is, if we take something, for instance, like a Fiat Punto, what kind of customer do you think would be going for a small, relatively cheap vehicle like the Fiat Punto?
Students.
Students, yeah? Could be students. Anyone else?
First-time buyers.
First-time buyers. Anyone else?
People who aren't interested in cars who just want something cheap and practical.
Okay, so people who have no emotional attachment to the vehicle, it's just a form of transport for them. So form of transport, no emotional attachment. Okay, for these types of people, what do you think is important when they make a purchase? What factors will help them decide whether they buy a Fiat Punto or a different type of vehicle?
I think it would be the budget moreover.
Okay, so budget would be important. So the budget that they actually have to spend. And what does that translate into when we think about the actual car that's for sale?
Price.
The price. So the price, this kind of purchase is going to be extremely price sensitive, and that's something that you would need to be aware of if your customers fit into this kind of segment. So if you think your customers are Fiat Punto drivers, then price is going to be really important to them. If we take a different type of vehicle, is everybody familiar with the Aston Martin? Maybe you haven't all got one parked at home, but does everybody know what an Aston Martin is? I can see lots of people, so that's good. Let's think about your Aston Martin driver. What type of person would purchase an Aston Martin?
High-powered professionals.
High-powered professionals. Okay, anyone else?
Ridiculously rich.
Not sure I can spell that, I'll just put rich. Thank you. And at the back. Yes?
Those who value style and status.
Exactly. People who value style and status. Which links very nicely into my next question. What's important to these types of people when they purchase something like an Aston Martin? And I think the very first thing you mentioned is they really look at style and status. That's particularly important to them. But what else would be important if you were buying an Aston Martin?
Performance.
Yeah. It's a high-performance vehicle. It's very expensive, but it's also extremely highly rated in terms of performance. Anything else?
Exclusivity.
Yes, I think it's really important. They're looking for a product that is exclusive, so there won't be tens of thousands of them or millions of them out on the road. It will be something that's relatively select. Anything else that's important to people who purchase an Aston Martin?
Personalisation.
Sorry?
Personalisation.
Personalisation. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
They want it to their specifications, no one else has the same. Can't.
Okay, the thing about the Aston Martin is a huge amount of the vehicle is actually built by hand. So personalisation is something that can be built into the production process quite easily, and every vehicle is actually quite different to the previous one. Okay, so we've actually built a profile of our customer who might purchase and drive an Aston Martin. So if that's going to be your potential customer, then this sort of tells you a little bit what will actually motivate their purchase, what will drive them to purchase your product or service. We'll just look at one more category, and if we took a BMW, what sort of person might purchase a BMW? Did you want to say?
City boy.
A city boy. What do you mean by that? Okay, so somebody who is cash rich but working in a professional capacity. Okay, yes.
Professional athlete.
A professional athlete. Are you thinking of anyone in particular?
Footballers.
Okay, anybody else?
Middle class.
Middle class. Anyone else? Gangsters. Are we thinking of any particular model of the BMW range? Blacked out windows X5, I think we're thinking of it. Okay. If they're part of your target audience, just be very, very careful. Little word of warning. Okay, so let's take perhaps the top three. We'll perhaps consider this group separately. What would you think is important to BMW purchasers or drivers? That, if we're talking about these kinds of people, what are they looking for when they purchase a car?
Reliability.
Yeah. If you're talking about the middle class, they've probably got 2 or 3 children, perhaps taking on the school run, perhaps going off for family holidays. Reliability is really, really important. What else?
Power and performance for youngsters.
Power and performance. Thank you. And what else?
Compatibility with lifestyles.
Compatibility with lifestyles. Okay. For these type of people, it's probably really important to know what their neighbours have got parked on the drive, and to actually know that they've got the latest BMW, perhaps top of the range, or perhaps the biggest model that they actually make. So these sorts of things are really, really important. So if you think that your target audience may be a BMW purchaser, then these are some of the things that will actually motivate their decision to purchase. So the car analogy is just a simple one, and it's probably something you can do on the back of an envelope when you're sitting around the table at the pub. But it just gives you a feel for the sorts of things that will motivate your customers to go out there and actually make a purchase. So a quick and easy way of having a look at what might motivate people you're looking to sell to.